Namaste, and welcome to some Yin Yoga. Today we're going to be doing one seated Yin pose and then a few wall poses. So make sure that you have a couple of blocks and a bolster, or some pillows and some blankets that you can fold up. You could use cushions from your chair, your other furniture too. Um, so grab those things and then meet me back here at your mat. Today we're going to be talking about surrender. I believe that yin classes and yin poses are the best for this topic because we are in a constant conversation with surrender in some aspects of our life all day long. If it's whether it's surrendering to the moment and being as present as we can be, surrendering to something that we have no control over, surrendering ourselves to the divine. And then, of course, these bigger things where we're surrendering ourselves in relationships with other people in the outside world. And sometimes we have to have a practice that brings us into whatever that thing is that we're surrendering. I find myself in the strongest moments of surrender when I'm grieving something. And that doesn't necessarily mean someone that's passed, but when I'm grieving who I used to be, what my life used to look like, a new situation I've been put in, and not being able to let go of the fact that I want what it was before, even though the universe is giving us this opportunity to change and grow. So once you have all of your stuff, let's go ahead and come to your mat. We are going to bring our blocks up. First, placing our block down like this and using a second to kind of lean up on it. So I'll turn this sideways so you can see. And we're going to bring our feet out to come down into what will be a wide-legged forward fold. So we're going to make sure that our two blocks are like this. You can bring them a little bit closer to your body to make sure that you really can lean right in. And then I have a bolster that I'm going to use. And you can kind of test that out to see how that's going to feel. Just kind of laying your body onto it. If you feel yourself kind of like having to push and stretch, bring something a little, you could even stand this up like this. That's how we'll start, like that. That's a little bit higher. And then just bringing your chest to the bolster or the pillow, whatever you have, and laying your face down onto one side. You can put your hands on the block or your hands down to the side. And we're just going to stay here. Really breathing into that spot. If this is the first practice that you're having of the day, I'm sure that it feels very tight in your hips and in your legs, like it does for me. And that just gives you the opportunity to really surrender even more. Sometimes surrendering means that we have to come back into ourselves. So sometimes you're going to have to come and give yourself something else to lean on. Something else to make this not so difficult on you. And we're just going to kind of feel the effects of that, relaxing in this position. You might see a carpenter bee or two just kind of fly by me. I've got a whole group of them digging holes into stuff near me, and they come and just kind of look at me and see what I'm doing and fly away. You might be feeling no stretch here at this point now that we're a couple minutes in, or less of a stretch. So you can really bring your block down to that lowest position now and just kind of lean in. Making sure that you're staying with your breath. We could even be using some of that ujjayi breathing here, where we're constricting the back of the throat. Making ocean sounds with our breath. Really just finding peace in this moment of surrender, staying still, which is a difficult thing for a lot of people to do. We can come down a little bit further here. Bringing ourselves with just one block if that feels comfortable. Really feeling the effects of that right on the insides of our legs here. And really my lower back is feeling like a release of tension almost, because I'm giving myself that ability to really surrender into this position, because I'm able to keep these blocks like they are. I have my microphone on, so I'm not going to do it for long, but if you want to switch your head over to the other side, that actually provides a little bit more of a stretch, a little different stretch than probably you were having in the first place. And now I'm going to remove my bolster, and I'm just going to bring up my block here. This may be where you're at right now, it might not be. Really bringing in those deep inhales and then letting it all go. Coming back up slowly, we're going to move our blocks to the side. Our bolster. We're going to scoot our feet in. Give ourselves a little rest here for just a moment. Feeling the effects of that stretch. Maybe rolling our head a little bit. Waking our neck and shoulders up just a bit. we've been relaxing. And now we're going to come to our wall. We're going to bring our hip up next to the wall. So I'm going to bring my left hip up to the wall. You could do your right. And we're just going to leave our feet placed on the ground and our hands behind us. And we're going to kind of twist ourselves, moving our legs up the wall, bringing ourselves, scooching our bottom up to the base of the wall like this. And we're just going to hang out here. Feels really nice after having our legs stretched all the way out. Just a nice neutral position. Coming back into our breath a little bit. Even maybe using that ujjayi breath like we talked about before, constricting the back of the throat with those ocean-like sounds. Whatever's comfortable for you. You could have your arms flat out. That made my back really kind of have some release, my upper back. Again, just surrendering in this moment. If you have something that's coming up in your mind as trying to draw attention away from your practice right now, imagine kind of just sweeping it away with a broom, putting it in a dustpan, and just kind of setting it to the side for later. Right now, all we are is inside of our body, hearing our own breath, surrendering to this moment. So we're going to kind of go in line here with what we were doing before, and we're going to start to scoot our legs out to the side. Now, you don't want to go as far as you possibly can, all the way down to your lowest stretch. I would start about 2/3 of the way down, because it's going to start to feel more and more comfortable as time goes on to just kind of scoot your legs down, allowing that. It's so different from the pose we were just in. There was actually still just a smidge of force involved, right, with you leaning over and putting weight down, and now it's just the lightness of this gravitational pull allowing us to like really just surrender. And we're going to hang out here. Just intuitively kind of scoot yourself down the more you feel like is comfortable and doesn't cause any discomfort, whether it be in the inner leg or the knees, or even into your hips. you start to feel like your legs have gone too far and you're feeling a little bit too much strain, use your hands to help your legs up a smidge. Don't try and use the same muscles that are hurting to lift, um, or I'm sorry, the same tendons to lift. Use your hands and give yourself a little bit of help. I'm feeling myself being able to go a little bit further, so I'm just going to scooch my legs down. We'll hang out here for just another minute. You should really be feeling that kind of weight off of your lower back and hips, even though everything is kind of weighing into them. You're not having to do so much work to keep your legs up, allowing gravity to just do its job. And just kind of surrendering those hips and legs into what is. So we're going to pull ourselves out of this pose a little bit. You're going to use your hands again, like I said, to kind of help your legs up. And what might feel good is just kind of bringing your feet, your knees down into your chest a little bit for just a minute. And then bringing them back up straight on the wall. Kind of feeling the effects of that. So the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to bring our feet down into a kind of frog pose. So you can place your feet onto the wall, keeping your toes more up and bringing your knees down about to where your hands are or to wherever is comfortable, kind of in that frog position. So if you go so far, you'll start to feel like a crushing, crunching down in your lower hips. And we really just want to stay away from that. We want to keep ourselves in a position where we're not feeling so much strain. And you can even start with your hands underneath your knees if it feels like too much. And then just kind of taking your hands down. Breathing in nice and deep, staying attention with that breath to the breath. Now at some point, if you'd like, you can start to kind of put your hands onto your knees just to add just the slightest bit of weight. Completely optional though. Staying with your breath here. Surrendering to the present moment. Surrendering the things that we have racing through our mind that we need to just let go of. The more of those things that we surrender, the more space there is for divine intervention within our own being. So we're going to bring our legs back up. And that's kind of just our final way to end. We're going to leave our legs up for just a moment, giving them little bends on each side. Bringing them both down into our chest. Rolling onto our side. And then bringing ourselves up again into a seated position. Just sitting in easy pose right now is so much easier than it was when we first started class. I hope that whatever, if you have anything that is holding you right now and you're feeling like you need to let go of, I hope that this class has helped you kind of move through that, even if it was for a few moments. And I hope that you spend the rest of your day doing something beautiful and that you love. Namaste.